Hi everyone. In this slide we're once again looking at a lymph node. This slide, however, looks different from the other ones you've seen because it is actually stained for reticular fibers. So it was stained with silver, and so what you're seeing here, a lot of the more fibrous material is actually reticular fibers. Okay, so again, the overall organization of a lymph node is still quite clearly visible here. We have the lymphatic nodules along the outer region. This is again the cortex. Okay, we have some of these regions that are a little bit less organized. That's the paracortex, and then we have these regions in here in the middle with kind of these random looking lighter passages and darker areas. This is the medulla, and so we have medullary sinuses. And then we have the darker areas are the medullary cords, which are much more cellular. Okay. Now again, if you're wondering, right here roughly is where the hilus would be of this organ. And in like this slide here, because you can actually see the trabeculae a little bit more clearly. So this would be the capsule out here. And then right in here, this region would be a trabecula. Okay, so going to the interior, and around it, right next to it, you can see very clearly the trabecular sinuses. Okay. Again, more trabeculae here. Now let's zoom in a little bit to take a look at these very fine and highly branched reticular fibers. Let's go to 100x. You'll notice that there's a lot of cells in here, so it's not just the fibers that are staining, it's also the cells. Okay, and if we zoom in a little bit more, we can see a bit more of that network of reticular fibers. Okay, so let's kind of put this into focus, and this is where you see the reticular fibers here. Okay, so all these very fine looking threads that you're seeing here throughout all this. Okay, very highly branched. Okay, very delicate looking. Those are reticular fibers. And so again, they form a network on which all the other cells sit. It's kind of like a mesh. Again, what you're seeing here is mostly lymphocytes. These are normally just kind of free floating around in the bloodstream. They don't exactly attach themselves to things, and so what you have here is instead is this kind of a mesh where these cells kind of sit. They get kind of trapped on there, and they kind of just sit there on this network of fibers. So again, very fine set of fibers, highly branched. These are not very structural. I mean, this is a structural component here. It kind of gives this lymph node a little bit of a structure that allows these cells to kind of rest on them, but definitely not meant to deal with a lot of stress. This is not something that has a lot of high tensile strength. This is definitely a fiber that's just kind of there to be this very loose sort of material that kind of links things together and allows things to just kind of settle fairly gently in place. Okay, so again, all these little thin fibers you're seeing here are reticular fibers. Okay, let's move on to the next slide.